Hey, what's up people? Welcome back.
Once again.
So today we're going to go through Làzijī, which means basically chicken and chilies. This dish is an absolute Sichuanese classic. I'm pretty sure anybody who's familiar with not just Sichuanese food, but like Chinese food generally knows this dish. So let's break down the ingredients. It's actually simple to make. Just the only thing that's a little bit troublesome is taking care of like all the chilies that go into making this dish. So here I've got like 2 chicken thighs with the skin on. Personally, like I love to leave the skin on. It's the best way to do it, like leaving the skin on. I've got a beaten egg, sesame oil, a little bit of sugar, maybe tablespoon and a half of Sichuan peppercorns, a little bit of potato starch, potato flour like a tudou fin, so like yeah, potato flour, ginger, garlic, spring onions, and a teaspoon of soy sauce and a teaspoon of dark soy sauce. So we're gonna go through the process of making this. It's actually, once you've cut the chilies, it's super simple and it's easy to make. So we're just gonna go through the marination process right now. Learn how to marinate it. You can marinate it overnight. Actually, if you leave it for like 24 hours, it has a way better flavor to it. So we'll go through the marination process, how to cut the chilies, how to de-seed the chilies, like why we do that, why we cut them the way we cut them, why we de-seed them, why I use the blend between the 7-star and the heaven-facing chilies. So let's do the chicken here, the chicken prep. Okay, so the first part of this dish is preparing the chicken. Okay, the marination process of the chicken in this dish is paramount. So what we're gonna do is I've got 2 chicken thighs here that have got the skin on. I always leave the skin on when I make it, but as you can see, you've got the tendons in here and you've got this like, it's just not even, like as in, for example, if you start cooking this in oil and you start cooking this in oil, the cooking balance is gonna be out. So you're just not going to get as good a finished product at the end. So basically what we're going to do is you're going to come through and you're going to chop. When you chop like this, it chops through the tendons, yeah? And then if you have a piece like this, which is very fatty, you can just come over and you can just slice that chicken open like this. So you're seeing from doing this and opening it up, I'm not cutting the chicken to pieces at the moment. I'm just opening it up, and as it opens like this, I can start to cut it. Now, sometimes, a lot of times, for the gong bao ji ting, the recipe, people will like cut like small pieces, yeah. But me personally, I like to marinate them a little bit longer and cut it a little bit bigger. So I do it around about like this. Around about this sort of fatness. So, and then we can come down from here, keep the skin on, make sure you keep the skin on, boom, yeah, boom. And I like to do, like I said, I like to do it a little bit fatter than you'd see in a lot of recipes, yeah. Just because I like that succulentness of the meat. So, we come down through here, and make those pieces around about that size. You know, if you get some smaller pieces, like whatever. But basically, you generally try to stick to it roughly the same size. Around about that. See, that should go in half. So we're ending up with kind of chunks that are relatively even sized there. So onto the second thigh, same thing. There's 2 high knots here. So we're gonna smooth these out. You come here and smooth them out. got tendons down here. You can see the tendons. See how the tendons are here? So loosen those tendons up. Break it up. This, when it's like this, can go back in the xian tang. Or, yeah, obviously you don't want to cut your fingers off, so you can obviously just slice it in the right size. You ready for the next stage? All right, so now we're gonna get on to the marination process of the chicken. So basically, I've got one beaten egg here. So I'm gonna add about half the beaten egg. I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of potato flour. Not all of it, like maybe half a teaspoon in the beginning. Add light soy, 1 teaspoon. Add dark soy, about the same, 1 teaspoon. And then from here, start mixing it together. Some people like to add sea salt, like I just don't, like just because I'm just not much of a salt dude. So yeah, if you feel like you need to add salt, then do your thing. But it's just, I don't need to do that. I think that I get enough saltiness through the soy sauce, not to bother doing that. All right, so once I've mixed in half of the egg, I'm going to add the other half, and I'm going to add the other half of the potato flour. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to mix it one way. So when my chef taught me about mixing meat when you marinate it this way, he was like, "Oh, make sure you mix it one way." And I was like, "Why?" Like, yeah, can you give me more insight as into why? And he replied, "Because that's the way it fucking is." Which is fucking beautiful. I love it. So anyway, you want it to be looking a little bit, when you see the chicken here, we're starting to get a little bit of like, it looks like it's kind of gluey. Yeah, it's got this like gloppiness to it. So that's the way we want the chicken to be after the marination process is finished. So I'm just gonna basically slice all these and put them on here. All right, so next we're gonna take the garlic, and we're just gonna, you don't have to be exact, you don't have to dice it, you just slice it into chunks. Okay, so we want, chunks of garlic like this. Okay, and then do exactly the same with ginger. And I mean, of course, you can choose like how much garlic or how much ginger you want in there. Yeah, I would like personally, I've cut this like kind of long here, so I would cut it in half. Okay, and we're just gonna have like really like loose cuts. It really doesn't matter if they're big. And then we're gonna do like what you call like a pig ear or a diamond ear cut on these. So you just cut this way, that way, this way, that way, this way, that way, this way. So you basically get this like triangular cut. All right, and if you see any of them, any of the that you think's too big, you can just cut it in half. It doesn't really matter, whatever. It's a real loose cut process. When I make this dish, I like to blend the dried chilies, the 7-star and the heaven facing. So the 7-star are these, and the heaven facing are these. And generally speaking, at most restaurants, they'll either just give you the 7-star, which is, I'd say, 90% of the time, and sometimes they give you the heaven facing. But I use a mix of both because the 7-star are a lot spicier. They got a lot more kick, like raw kick. But the heaven facing have a smoothness, so you can really get like a much better blended mala profile out of using both of them. One of the other things I'd like to add as well is about de-seeding. Is like some places that you go to, they don't even de-seed the chilies anymore. And obviously the seeds of the chilies are extremely spicy. And in the method of cooking that we're going to do today, we're going to be using our xiantong, we're going to be using our base stock to fuse the whole dish together. And if you leave the chilies seated and you put that steam pressure through them at the end of the dish, you'll find that you'll blow your whole flavor profile out. So this is why the de-seeding method is like super important. All right, so now we're going to move on to the cooking process. So basically, I've got about 200 mils of fresh oil here. I'm going to start that up. I'm going to start heating this oil up. So basically, how to find out whether it's at the right temperature is you want to use the green from the spring onion leaves, but usually like you'd wash it, right? But don't wash it, because if you throw it in there with the water, it's going to blow up in your face. So if you want to gauge like if this is at the right heat to cook chicken or not, you want to use this and just put it in there, and you'll see that it's absolutely right now not bubbling at all. It's just not bubbling at all, which means the heat is way too low. One of the important things with this dish is that because you're cooking the chicken in oil, right, and then you're stir frying it again, and then you're going to add some of the xiantong, like the base stock, to it. Like, it needs to be cooked at the right temperature. It needs to be hot, and the chicken needs to be cooked to where it's almost crispy. It's not crispy as in like fried crispy, as in like Taiwanese like Làzijī, not like that, but it needs to be like golden brown cooked. Good. Okay, so as you can see, we're starting to bubble up here. But the thing is that this spring onion has been in here for a while, so it's slowly been heating up. So if I take that out, and if I add another batch, see, when I threw that in, if I take that out now, when I threw it in, it's starting to get like as soon as I throw it in. So this means that the oil heat is starting to get to the stage where I want it to be. Now, if we use the last piece here and we chuck it in, if we watch the skin, boom, straight in. So this is how my chicken's going to react. So you can see right away how your chicken's going to cook. So, okay, I'm at the right heat now. All right, so I'm going to take the chicken, okay, and I'm going to start stirring. I'm going to stir, okay, and as I add the chicken, I'm going to keep stirring. And I don't want to let the chicken stick to the wok, right? So after you've just added in, you can change it over to your ladle and make sure that the chicken doesn't stick to the wok. Just keep it moving. Keep the heat up, keep the heat high, and just keep it moving, yeah? And we're gonna keep doing this. We're gonna keep doing this process, keep ladling the chicken one way until it starts to become brown and crispy. So once you get into the actual cooking process, you don't need to keep stirring it. It's just in the beginning, you need to take the skin off the bottom of the wok. You need to get that circulation going. And then once we're cooking away now, you can just like, you know, leave it for 30 seconds or whatever. Give it another stir. Okay, so one of the first signs where you'll start to like feel like, okay, it's starting to get closer, is you'll notice that from when you added the chicken in the first place, it'll start to shrink, and you'll be like, oh, it's like starting to get smaller. So as it starts to get smaller, you know that you're starting to get on the way. But if you look at the exterior of this chicken, that's nowhere near enough. In the end, you're going to have the succulence, which is going to come from the xiantong. So you really want to get it, I wouldn't say like what in Chinese culinary terms they call like gun, like, you know, shima gun cai. It's not like dry like that, but you really do want to cook it down to where it becomes like relatively dry and relatively crispy. All right, bro, we're almost there, man. We're a minute or so away. Let it go a little bit more, a little bit longer. Okay, so this is exactly where we want to be. It's like golden brown, little bit of a deep golden brown. Yeah, you can see that it's not just your normal light golden brown. It's a little bit of a deep golden brown. So once it gets to this stage, yeah, you're going to strain it out. Okay, so the final process, we've got our soy, sesame, we've got sugar, we've got the Sichuan peppercorns, the spring onions, the garlic and the ginger, all of our chilies that we've painstakingly cut, and the chicken, yeah? So we're gonna add about a tablespoon of oil, okay? So this process is kind of important. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna add half of the garlic and spring onions, half of Sichuan peppercorns, and not half, but a handful of the chilies, yeah? And just quickly let them char. So you can see it's kind of getting charred here, right? Then we're gonna add our chicken. Okay, and once we've added our chicken, stir fry a little. Okay, add the rest of the spring onion, garlic, okay, and Sichuan peppercorns, okay, and we're going to add a little bit of stock here. See how we create this? This is the fusion, okay. Now we're going to add the rest of the chilies. And we're going to add half of our sugar. And just like we're cooking at home here, so we need to let the heat come up, yeah. Once we feel like the heat's getting up hot enough, yeah, hit it again with a touch. Add the rest of the sugar. Add a touch of soy. Just a touch, not a lot. Just a little touch to flare it up again. And at the very end, touch the soup. Turn the heat off. Add some sesame oil. Toss it. It's okay.
Is it?
It's okay, Jim. Turn on it. You good?
You good?
Not really. Làzijī.
for it. Absolutely. Good.
It's all good, yeah. All right, so that's Làzijī ding. It's strong. Like when you're cooking it, it comes across like really strong. You're like, whoa, this is gonna be like really, really spicy, but it's not. It actually kind of sits in the middle of the spice level. Just, you know what I mean? Like, make sure you open the windows before you start cooking that stuff. Yeah, me and Chris today, because of sound quality, because of the effort that we're putting in for you dudes, had to like turn all fans off, etc., and just like cop that abuse. So yeah, don't put yourself through the same fucking pain. But anyway, it's a great dish. It's beautiful. It's actually it's lighter than people would think it would be. It's light. It's crisp. It's fragrant, but it's also obviously got that spice kick to it. So yeah, enjoy the dish, and yeah, catch you next time on Wok Drop.
Once again. Once again.
I want to do that one too.